Hey, this is Marty with Blavity, and I am here today with Mr. Musiq Soulchild. How are you doing?
I'm good. You?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Today we are going to talk about your long-awaited album, Victims and Villains. And you teamed up with HitBoy, of course.
Right.
So tell me how that came together. You know, HitBoy is known for working in the hip hop spaces, but you, of course, being the
Right.
king of neo soul. How did y'all merge on this one?
Well, it's funny that you say that. I always identified as hip hop soul. And for that specific reason, I think people kind of miss that part about Musiq Soulchild. And it's been an interesting timeline navigating in these R&B streets, trying to get people to. I mean, I know I make R&B, but I'm not an R&B artist. But don't worry about it. Yeah, I'll do it. It's fine. So now here it is. I'm able to work with a hip hop producer that, and he's not just a hip hop producer, but he's mostly known for being in that hip hop space. Where now I have an opportunity to, promote and project, a whole part of my identity that was lost this whole time. As much as I tried to, keep swinging and get you guys to know that it's still here with Just Friends and with Buddy, and it's there. The hip hop is there, but people focus more so on, the R&B or the neo soul or what have you. And I've accepted it because, it's still an offering from me and it's still a way for you guys to connect with me. Whereas though now I feel like I'm being more of myself by adding more hip hop into it so that maybe you guys will start to get a better picture of what it was that I was trying to do this whole time.
I love that. I love that. When you took the time to actually write this album versus your last one, was that like one of your main focuses on making sure that we saw like yourself as a added some of those extra components as an artist and bringing back some of the stuff that we loved about you? What was the process in this timeline for this album?
It was interestingly more easier than before. I was just being more myself. Whereas though before I had to fit myself into something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's like the difference between getting dressed up and trying to be presentable, and appropriate for a job that you're working at versus having your own business. You can wear
I
what you
love
want.
that.
You
I
can do
love
what
that.
you want. You can be more of yourself. You can bring people into your world. So I feel like the last past 20 some odd years I've been doing my job, whereas though now I feel like I'm doing me now.
You touching your passion. You actually the passion of music. So it's a little bit different coming into this space because we see you
Yeah,
as
and
the whole
not to be
artist.
mistaken, right, and not to be mistaken for taking anything away from what I've done before. I'm very proud of that, and those were moments in time, and those were my learning curves. Actually, I had to learn what it was like to do this, and what was out there, and how people respond and reacted, and what do people like, and that's what helped me identify better that okay, I get that people like this, and I'm able to do this, so I'm gonna do it because I know people like it, but I would much rather do this over here. And now I feel like I'm now being given that opportunity, or the opportunity has presented itself where I'm able to move in that more. And I hope that people, you know, still rock with me. You know,
Oh, I don't think that's going to be a
y'all like to
question.
tussle about y'all stuff.
I don't think that's going to be a question. Are we going to be able to see that, I guess, that new excitement to approach all aspects of you and everything that's accompanied with the album as far as like any visuals or all
Oh
the other
yeah.
music that you're going to put out, the singles? I know you've held back from releasing some teasers, so I know everyone's looking forward to
Well,
it.
the plan is to do a visual for each song. It's 10 songs on the album. So I'm going to plan to do that. I'm currently on tour, on the Soul to Soul tour with Kim Legacy. So I don't know what kind of time I'm really working with, but I got a really cool team, that's about it and that's ready to go. So I have a few, excuse me, I already released a couple, and I have a few that's being processed right now, and then I'm scheduled um, to shoot, a few more looks. So the plan is to do a look for each song because I personally feel like you'll get more out of the experience if you have that contextual reference. Because I don't know what people's imagination is at, and some people are at different levels with their imagination, and their takeaway may not be as intended. So I think that it helps to give that visual aid to help people to bring them into that world and be like, oh, I get the vibe now, because I get it. I can sense that it may be a little different than what people may be accustomed to. I made a statement one time I thought was actually cool. I don't know where it came from, but I said this album is um, This album is as different as it is the same. Um, it's a reminder of what you know and more of what you don't. You know,
I love
so
that.
yeah, I thought it was fresh too. It's a bar. I got it. I like it. So I want to use it and just make it a point to say like what I'm doing right now has always been there. You know, I'm just pushing it to the forefront, even for myself, because I've operated so much out of something else. I want to know what it's like to go this way now.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
So this is going to open up a whole new fan base for you, possibly, as far as
Really?
you walking into that space. Even when, like you said, associated with HitBoy, who's more than just a hip hop producer, but has
Hmm.
gotten a lot of exposure as to it.
Hmm.
So people who follow him that might not been introduced to you, they'll be able to see you. Talk more
Yeah.
about the actual tour, if you could, as far as like where y'all are doing. How's the chemistry with everyone on the tour? Because I know that's a vibe. Like Kim
It's
and
very
me.
professional, and we see each other, during sound check and through the halls, and it's all love. They're the other two artists, Kim and Lettucey, they're very dope, very professional, very great at what they do. They get really, really good responses, from the crowd, and it's just a whole vibe. And I'm just honored to be a part of it, and for people to get that experience. I think it's a really cool lineup, and I'm grateful that I can be mentioned in the same, conversation with these two.
Have you performed any of the new music on the tour?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm kind of waiting for people to kind of be more familiar with it because it is
Okay.
still new. And most people, they come for the hits. They're like, I don't care about the new stuff. Do what I know. So it's fine. It's all good.
Got it, got it. When you do add those to the lineup, do you feel like it's going to, based on I guess the reception that you get when you get it, are you going to be a little bit more excited to test out the new stuff versus?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be excited, but I don't know how people are going to react to it. But I try not to focus so much about that. As long as I know that myself and my band, we're doing it, and it sounds cool. It ain't my fault you're not enjoying it. This is great as far as I'm concerned.
No, that's touching back. This is for you. This is your whole rounded album as far as you as an artist. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot more. People are going to see the enjoyment versus you said doing the job. They're going to see you as the artist up there doing this. So I think they're going to
Well,
take.
even when I've been doing my job, I still do it with a smile, and I still mean to do it because I'm still grateful and excited that I get to do this. So I don't want that to be misconstrued. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is you could be happy and excited to do your job. It just hits different when you're doing you. That's all I'm saying.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got it. So as far as timing, I know you actually do have the initiative that you're working on right now.
Hmm.
So with the tour, with the album, the Bringing Music Back to School initiative, how are you fitting all that in? And tell us about that.
We're still trying to figure that out, and we get to it whenever we can. I'm working alongside with a school called Utopian Academy, out here in Atlanta, and they have definitely helped facilitate this whole process, um, and alongside with the Foundation, Stephen Marjorie Harvey Foundation, we've been working along side each other to try to figure out better ways to promote and support this initiative because I think it's really important that, especially specifically the young people, get better exposure to music education because a lot of people come to me like I'm the authority on music. I know my name is music, but I don't own and run music as a whole. I just work here just like everybody else. Um, but since I do, and I do have a position in a platform of influence, I do want to direct the attention to what I feel is important, which is music education, because people do come to me asking my opinion and perspective on the state of music, and I'm like, hey, it's going to be whatever we want it to be, whatever we support, whatever we contribute to, whatever we consume. Um, but I do think, in large part, it's impacted by the lack of exposure and education to the legacy and the standards that were set before us. So this is basically what the point and the reason why I'm a part of it is so that I can get in it rather than just talking about it and debating with people about it. Like I'd rather just get in the traffic of trying to do something about helping it get to a better place. And I can't think of a better way to do that than through education and exposure to information as it pertains to music legacy and all the artists and the institutions that help build the house that we all get to be a part of and be entertained by, and work within and make money off of and have a livelihood within. So I think all of these things are important, but it definitely starts with the young people because they're the ones that's going to grow up to affect how things are going to be later. So
Definitely, definitely. Do you think if you would have been a part of something like that, when you were coming up in school and stuff, it would have changed the trajectory of who you are as an artist, or
I
things
know
you went
that
through early?
yeah, professionally and creatively may have been way further along, but who's to say? Because I feel like going through what I went through gave me an intimate relationship with the game that I could impart on other people. So I don't know, like hypotheticals and shoulda, woulda, couldas. We could talk about that all day and paint a perfect picture in our mind. However, I think everything happens the way that it happens for the reason that it needed to happen, so that you can be a part of something in the way that you need to show up because of what you've been through for that reason. So I'm grateful for my timeline. I'm grateful to be able to contribute in the way that I can. Hopefully, it inspires people and helps to have them inspire other people. And just pay it forward, and it just keeps moving along in a more constructive way, rather than some may say a very destructive way.
I love that. I love that. So while you're on this trail of promoting and getting ready for this album, I guess what are some of the changes that you've seen from when you were doing that with your last project, as far as like how marketing looks, how promotion looks, how entertainment engagement with your fan looks, and things like that?
I took a backseat a lot because I didn't know a lot. Everything happened for me so fast that there wasn't time to really develop anything. That's why I tell people my timeline is my developmental process. That is my learning curve. So I've been doing what essentially a lot of people do before they get signed, before you know about them. But I just did it um, for a longer stretch of time because it was literally like I was live the whole time. I didn't get to go practice. I didn't get to go rehearse. I didn't get to go develop. It was like, no, you doing this now, and I was taking my L's and, bumps and bruises and all the turbulence along the way. Um, However, despite that, I like to say that I've been pretty successful.
I must say you made the bumps look good. So
I try not to, I try not to be too cringe, and, it got really interesting a few times.
yeah.
You We're not gonna talk about those times, but I'm grateful, and I can't say too many people have had the timeline that I've had and still be able to be here, um, putting out stuff that people want to talk to you about. So it's not lost on me how much of a blessing it's been. I wasn't fully aware in the beginning, but you go through enough stuff and you realize, oh wow, okay, cool. That's probably why that had to happen, or this is the reason why. And, oh wow, that was dope. I didn't get it then, but I appreciate it now. So um, yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah, don't let your impact be lost on you. Even though we put you as neo soul, not hip hop, so we'll work on that. But don't
Yeah,
let that don't let that.
that's just like a personal thing. Like, I don't let that get in the way. It's like, hey, you call it whatever you want to call it. As long as you still pull up, as long as you still support, that's what really
Yeah,
matters. I
long
appreciate
as you press that that
it. Yeah,
add
as long as
button
you press
on.
play. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So, give me before I let you go. Let me know. I guess as far as like this album, the takeaways. What are some of the things you want people to truly, if you could paint a picture as far as what you want people to walk away with after they stop listening to it? What would that look like as them being reintroduced to you in possibly the way that you're open to now?
I don't know. I think I would have to say I want them to kind of their takeaway to be like this is like the beginning or like the first installment of a different direction, I guess. But I don't. But see, I don't want to say that because the way that it sounds to me saying it and how I imagine how it sounds or may sound potentially to other people is that I'm making a hard left, and it's not what's happening. It's essentially I'm giving you more, just in a slightly different way. You know.
So maybe not a hard left, but adding more routes for them to
Ooh, I
take.
like that.
There we
More
go.
lanes. I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
no, I think that'll work. Oh, I do. Tomorrow, Music Soul Child Day.
Oh, yeah. So, Music Soulchild Day, March 10th. Also, the release of the album, Victims and Villains, produced by
Look at
HitBoy.
alignment. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at
It's
that.
also Mario Day. So, shouts out to Nintendo. Long story. Don't worry about it. I'm going to
My
get
last
everyone.
name is Bowser. It's fine.
Are you serious,
Yeah.
yo?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And my
That's
mom's name
crazy.
was Zelda. We could have ruled video games on her.
Yo, stop playing with
Like,
me.
yeah.
Oh, I'm about to geek out. Let me focus and be professional. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Really? Yeah. Tell me more.
No. No, tell me about Music Day and
So
we'll talk
yeah,
about
Music
your
Soul
stuff.
Child Day in Atlanta. So shouts out to Atlanta for for honoring me on this day. And it's just basically, I just use that day to give back. I don't know. I'm not really a make it about me type person. I've just never been that type of person. And I was, oh, that's admirable. I don't do it to be admirable. I just don't like being in people traffic. So forget, don't talk to me until till I come outside. um, but yeah, I just feel like if the attention is, I'm already getting a lot of attention, more attention than I'm comfortable with. But I receive it and I appreciate it because I know that's just a feature of doing stuff that people like and people want to be closer to you and engage with you and be a part of it. I get that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that to get lost. I get that. You know, it's just that everybody ain't the same and everybody don't operate the same way in with attention and being in crowds and stuff like that. So that's all another conversation. Anyway, so I utilized that moment that day to give back. That's where the concept of bringing music back to schools, is almost kind of is about.
Okay, got it.
It's to dedicate my time, while I have a lot of attention on me, to direct that attention to something that I feel like could use more attention. Like bringing music back to schools, helping the young people understand exactly what's out there and help unlock their potential in a more productive way.
Awesome. All the lanes opening up.
Yeah,
That's what it's
yeah,
about. That's what it's about. So thank you so much again for your time. Everybody remember Victims and Villains is on March 10th. It's going to be
yeah,
available everywhere to
yes,
download. And get ready to get the full music from music, all that good stuff.
yeah.
I'm a fan.
We getting it started. We're getting it started. And hopefully, if all goes well, I'm putting another one out later on this year.
It will go well, and you will. That's all I'm gonna
Best
say.
speaker.
Or
Okay, cool.
that's
That's
all I'm
what's
gonna
up.
say. But
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much for your time, and we'll
Thank
be
you.
looking forward to it. You have a good one.
Nice. Thank you.